I'm viewing as I basically have a 3-hour block to do what I want in. So the fact that officially class is over and we're about to start lab, I'm ignoring that. The lab we're doing today is not going to take the full time. So let's talk about, first off, I have 2 metal blocks here. And this is brass, this is aluminum, this weighs more. If anyone would like to check to check the weights, I'd be glad to hand it to him or her, and you may determine whether I am telling the truth or not. All right, kind of skeptical here. Okay, you agree this one's heavy?
Yes.
All right. Anyone question both of us now?
No.
Thanks for your support. All right. So if I drop them at the same time, the question is which one will hit first? And based upon what you just did, let's see. So 4 of you said about half as long for the heavier one than the lighter one. So this should be about twice the time of this one. 4.5 people said this one, the lighter one, will take half the time. 2 people said about the same time. 8 of you, which was indeed a plurality, considerably less for the heavier one, not necessarily half as long. And then 2.5 of you did the lighter one. All right, so that's basically what was just fed to me. They are indeed about the same size. This one does have a small little nub there, and hopefully you'll ignore that. So, let's drop them at the same time. See which one hits first. All right. If any of you ever work for a company like DuPont, don't ever do this. I was once walking down a set of stairs and I didn't have my hand on the railing. I was called on it. They are incredibly serious about that stuff. All right. It's like about the same time to me. So I guess one question is, for those who do not answer C, which is all but 2 of you, where did your belief that they would be considerably different come from?
The weight.
Pardon?
The weight. I thought because it's heavier, maybe it'll fall faster.
The classic, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Now, I will say that the heavier one has more force applied to it when it hits the ground. But as they're falling, it's the same. By the same token of, I take a marker and I drop it, or if I connect it to it, so basically I have 2 markers here falling. I have 2 markers here falling. Just because they're connected like this does not affect how fast it's going to fall. On this 30-question test that you just did, I'm expecting that at this point in the course, the average will be somewhere around 7 or 8 correct. So, not meaning to put a guilt trip on you or make any other comment other than typically students at this point are wrong about the way they believe the world works. And so that's what physics is going to be doing, is trying to teach you that in essence, you're wrong. We will all make mistakes in here. It's okay. All right, there are just a couple things I want to do before we do the lab. So first off, I would like 3 volunteers. 1, Logan?
Yeah.
All right. 2, Lydia? And the 3rd one? Not yet. All right, what is it? Right, Briley, with a B. All right. We're going to head out into the hallway. Now, if you're like the typical class, you're going to have, we have 21 in here. There's going to be 19 people clustered around this door. Please, spread out. We're gonna be taking the rope out there. One person is gonna be way down the hallway, so don't cluster around the door. You wanna be able to see. And so as we head out, the 3 volunteers, I would like to talk to you 3. I need you 3 to decide which of you is the weakest, or which 2 of you are the weakest, or which one of you is the strongest, whichever way you want to go. So, flip that. 1 weak, 2 strong. Who's the weakest of the group? Come on up to the hall.
So here are the potential dangers for I did have a student who basically went with indecision and left with basically broke marks across his hand in class. So it starts to work. Say something clever like, ow, you don't let go of the rope, step in. Because if you let go of the rope, the leather might fly back. It's a lot of people with the camera. All right, now. What's gonna happen is you want to keep her or let you move away from the way. You, the weak one. You go with one finger break, well, you know, I think the biggest issue you're gonna run into is as you're looking down, it slips off your fingers. Alright, so Logan and Riley, you ready? Alright, so you two want to keep doing this, that's the middle road to the ground. Alright, so. Where are you at? Okay, are you gonna try this time? All right. All right. I think that's it, then. This time. All right, are you ready? Okay. Okay, good. What about the rope? The rope's not particularly flimsy. Yeah, I mean, if it were flimsy and used to force cut as if it break, or, used to fly backwards and stretch. Okay, so one more time, we'll go in and talk about how to stretch the class. Right. First off, your hands are okay. Ready? Ready? All right, let's go in and talk about how it's like really it's no arm strength, it's no power. Thank you.
Still not quite sure why I wrap up the rope, because next time I use it, it's just gonna be a tangled mess again. And I don't think I stopped it then, so it recorded some beautiful board time. I'm Dr. George Fox, by the way. My office, Tech 325, it's the next alley down. So if you walk down the hallway, there'll be a classroom on the right, then there's gonna be a small hallway with a closet at the end or mechanical, some sort of inner workings. My office is right to the left. All right. Why was Lydia able to overpower Briley and Logan?
The distance between them. The distance between them,
What about it?
it was too much.
Why does that matter?
Because the closer they are, the more force they have.
So if they were, say, at half the distance, do you think that they'd be exerting more force on the road?
Yeah,
Why?
there's a shorter distance.
I would contend that even if they came in halfway, the force that they were exerting would still be the same. I mean, we could try it. You wanna? Would you like gloves?
Yeah, or I don't know.
Okay, well, obviously, not going as far.
Okay.
So we'll do it. Okay, first we'll do it like this. Okay, we'll just pull. Okay, you got some sense of how hard that is?
Yeah.
All right, now let's come halfway in. You like pulling harder or this here?
I feel like it's a little bit harder, but.
Really? Huh.
Alright, hold on.
Might have positioned my feet differently.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I see that, yeah.
Okay, roughly the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Distance will play a factor, but not for that reason.
Okay.
Yes.
Would it be their weight? Because she was right in the middle, and there was two different weights on the end. So she was closer to.
I think she was slightly closer to Briley, but she was roughly in the middle. So your contention is because she was closer to one of them, or
No,
just because they outweighed
She was
her?
in the middle, and there was two different weights on the end.
All right, first off, weight is a very specific force that we'll talk about. Weight is a gravitational pull. So weight, the direction of the weight on each person is straight down. So they were pulling on the rope this way, and the weight acting on them was that way. So that actually, their weight is not a particularly key component here. Is it that Lydia lied and she works out regularly?
Would it be different if it was more people, like four of them? Or like if it
Put it on the
was,
ends?
like, two on the end, then two right here.
Oh, in the
So
middle?
like 4 people. Trying to keep it like,
So if they have the long rope like that, and so you got a person here,
and then the person like in front of them kept pulling each way,
so here and here.
yeah.
Shall we try it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. No one's ever suggested that before, so let's find out if it matters. I'll need 2 more volunteers though. Got 1, got 2. All right. All right. So, Ashlyn
Yes.
and Caleb. All right. All right. Bradley, you still good to go? Lydia, you willing to do it again? Logan? All right, let's go into the hallway and let's see if this works.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and we'll eventually get into why it's slightly harder, but you're still able to do it despite the fact that we now have four incredibly strong people and one weak person. All right, step back inside, again, figure out. Thank you.
Matriona?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that suggestion. I might incorporate that next time. It was more difficult, but it wasn't exactly the exact same as it was before. However, she was still able to do it. Why? She's a witch. All right. Jennifer? Oh, yep.
Could it be because they're going in opposite directions and she's pushing downwards?
Most of the effort spent by the two people on the end, or the four people on the end, was fighting against whom?
Each other.
For those who said each other, yeah. The fact that almost all of the effort that was spent on the people pulling on the rope was this way or that way. They were not fighting forces going that way. Now, as it bends, and they're now pulling up at an angle, yeah, some of the force is now upward, so some of what they're doing is up. And so it starts out with they're applying force this way, they're applying a force this way. Because the rope is not stretching and the weight of it is relatively small, the force that each side is applying is roughly the same magnitude. When she pushes this way, there's nothing to oppose that to start out with. And then, as they're going, push it up like that, she's still pushing down. Most of what they're doing is to the left or right, and there's just a little bit that's acting upwards. Now, if it were a shorter rope, and let's say that that's the shape of the rope, that instead of being that long, it's this long, and they're pulling this way, yes, they're still fighting against each other, but more of it is acting upwards. And so that's why it'd be more difficult. Which is why when we brought the second people in, the positioning wasn't as much as at the ends as more right here. And so they basically, in essence, shortened the rope, which made it more difficult. Your hand okay? Everyone's hands good? All right. Let's connect this with pretty much the rest of the course. When you're applying a force, there are two things which are crucial. One is how strong you're pulling. And what's the other one? I think somebody said it.
The direction.
Say it louder.
The direction.
Absolutely. Direction matters. If magnitude and direction matter, then you are dealing with vectors. We will be facing vectors throughout the entire course. Now, if the direction doesn't matter, such as how many people are in the room, how we're oriented, makes absolutely no difference, there's a set number, that is not a vector. What is that called? It's the math you've been working with since kindergarten, or before or after, I don't know what point people start school. Can't believe your kindergarten teacher never told you. Scalar. Scalar math is the math that you've dealt with, that you've been dealing with since you first started doing math. We're now going to introduce you to vector math. If I go 3 miles east, and then 4 miles north. 3 miles east, 4 miles north. Let's just sketch it out. So I'm starting here, and I go, draw, there you go. That represents 3 miles. Just gonna go ahead and establish east is this way. And 4 miles this way. Where am I relative to where I started? Okay, as we'll talk about later, that is a legitimate answer. However, what would you do? There's a math operation between those.
5.
Okay, so